Hi, this is Mary Burke-Kelly, and this is a short video for my students on the basics of sending a distance session to your student partner. If you're viewing this in one of my classes on Zoom, we've already showed you how to do a certain session or protocol on a real person and find those points, but now as you send and receive to each other in a practicum on Zoom, you're going to need to translate this to actually working on a surrogate. And I am a holographic sound practitioner certified in that, as well as Acutonics. So the basic steps that you're going to do is based on holographic sound techniques, and these have been very successful. I know that some people have very effective ways of sending distance energetics and healing, Reiki and all that, but I suggest that you try these methods, maybe add it to what you normally do, because a lot of my people who have not tried the holographic methods have found this to be much more effective when you're using sound. So if you're in my class, you probably have a sheet that looks like this up on Google Classroom, and it gives you the basic steps that I'm going to go over here and maybe why you're using them. For your first step in preparation for sending a session distance is going to be to kind of state out loud who you're sending to and where you're sending. You're kind of just stating out loud what your intention is. So if you're sending to, Susie Thompson in Minneapolis, you would just state out loud that I'm going to send an Acutonics distance session to Susie Thompson located in, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And then it's always nice if you want to kind of ask the higher self of the person to accept the energy and integrate it for you. The next step in holographic sound techniques is to make what we call heart holograms. And you can picture this in your mind any way you want to. It only takes a few seconds to do it. Don't get hung up on, oh, I can't imagine it, I can't see it. You don't need to. I just state that I'm going to make a heart hologram around, Susie Thompson in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And that you can imagine this as a torus shape around the person if you want to. Or a circle, or just a ball of energy, however you would like to think of it, but it's just basically as soon as you say it, it becomes created. This is all fifth dimensional energetic healing. And then make a heart hologram around yourself, and then make a heart hologram around the two of you. And basically what this does is this sets up sacred geometry where there's these overlapping, let's say, circles or spheres, and it creates the viscous Pisces, which is the same shape that you see in the flower of life. It's kind of the same shape for all kinds of creation. Also kind of puts a little isolated boundary around the two of you while you're working, a little protection. And then also the thing that I find the most important is the reason why I'm stating or having an intention to do holograms from the heart is your heart has its largest electromagnetic field, and as soon as I say that, it's kind of connecting me with the other person. So it's going to connect you with your fellow student partner, and maybe a heart resonance level, and so it's just a better way to have a good connection with the person. And the sacred geometry is creating this vehicle where the sound waves through quantum tunneling can be manifested in particle form on the other end. Before you start applying the forks to whatever your surrogate is, let's talk about different surrogates that you might want to use. You can see that I bought a Halloween dummy right off, or a Halloween mannequin, whatever you want to call it. It's soft, but it has some hands, okay, off of Amazon. It wasn't very expensive. I got it on sale for like $25. I think full price it might be 40, something like that. And I go ahead and I apply the tuning forks right onto the body where I know that the points are, and I'm using, the locations that I know where they are, and the intention that it's, going to show up on the other side. I like the dummy because for me it's more life size and it gives me the feeling that a real person is here. So that's just my preference. So in other words, this would be a close-up shot of me applying the forks to the approximate locations of, let's say, SJ5 outer gate, or LI4, or in the case of an extraordinary vessel, I'm putting them exactly where they would normally go, like lung 7, and then splitting my fork and coming down to, kid 6, the approximate location of where kid 6 would be on this dummy. A lot of my students are using this laminated like point locator guide. You can get it real cheap off of Amazon, or else they're buying it from me along with their tools. And this is what they're using for distance all the time, because here are your points and you can go right down. Say I'm doing the Watu Jaji points. You can go right down them with your forks. This is your surrogate then. You can flip it on the other end, and I can do, 4 gates. I can put the approximate fork on the LI, 4, and I can come down here on liver 3, and I can do my 3 iterations and so on and so forth. Some of my students prefer to use, they sell little acupuncture dolls on Amazon as well. I don't think they're that expensive. And so some of my students like to go ahead and put the forks on a acupuncture little doll. You could use any doll you have in the house. Just put your, forks in the locations of the tuning points to put the forks in the locations of the points or the chakras for whatever session you're giving. So you would use whatever surrogate you prefer. You can use stuffed animals. I have a student that has a stuffed Mickey Mouse that she's doing it on. So it doesn't really matter what kind of surrogate you use. But the next basic step is that you open the body template of the person over the surrogate when you're sending. So in other words, you've stated your intention, who and where you're sending. You've made your connection through making holograms, and now you're going to open the body template of the person. So I just say whatever surrogate I'm using, I just say I'm opening the body template of Susie Thompson. All right, and then once you're working on the body template is a field that we all have. It simulates the physical body and the other fields, and so while you're working on this, it's manifesting in the other location. So you go ahead and you do whatever protocol that we've gone over in class that you're supposed to send to each other. And then when you're done grounding on the feet of whatever your surrogate is, remember to close the body template of the person. So you go ahead and you're all done. You've done your grounding at the end. And then you close I close the body template of Susie Thompson. The very last step And sending distance is for you to dissolve or cut your connections with the person. So you can step back, and if you want to just, say that I'm dissolving, I'm cutting, I'm removing, whatever you want to say. My connections with Susie Thompson in Minneapolis. I happen to say, and I absorb only the energy, I absorb and maintain only the energy that is mine. So in this way, you're not still connected with the person. And if you want to imagine that your threads are disconnecting, or you want to imagine that the holograms are closing, however you want to do it, you need to disconnect so that you're not still connected with the person and maybe receiving some of their energy and processing.